because Liverpool UCU are that close to being able to have all redundancies at the university that the management want to have cancelled. They've already managed to battle down from 47 to 2, but we are here because 2 is still too many, and as you can see, there's lots of people here today who want to support the campaign.
I just want to say a couple of things today. So first, you've got to commend the UCU, both locally and nationally, for what they've done during this dispute. It's absolutely outstanding what they've done. But it's so important for the movement, it's so important for the trade union movement, the Labour Party, everybody to see what can actually happen when you come together collectively to fight what we're actually seeing from the universities. It's so important. Attacking 47 jobs in a pandemic is absolutely unforgivable. But they're not alone. They're not alone. We see many companies act in this pernicious way. British Airways, British Gas, who my brother was a victim of. And today, 12 o'clock today, there's a dispute in Barntalbot where once again Rolls-Royce are reneging on the agreements and forced the strikers back out to work. Now, United Air today, I would have been there today actually if it wasn't for here. I'd have made my commitment here. But we have got to come together collectively to fight what we're seeing across the country. There are no employees who are driving our people into poverty and into hate. I've never heard that before. But even though just outline what I've outlined, I think what we see by the UCU has been the evolution of what you can actually do. What you can actually do by coming back. We're going to look at campaigns, the level of organisation, what they've actually shown, building networks, Zoom collectives, develop an industrial strategy that maximises workers' leverage. And this dispute is testing the ground for the next disputes. So it's a hugely important period. And this is a high-stakes strategy, what the UCU are actually doing, but it's one I absolutely fully support. The only weapon workers have is to hit the employer where it hurts the most, and they've actually done that. So congratulations to the UCU. I think the brutality they're getting, the 47 jobs during the pandemic, needed the strongest possible response, and they certainly got that. And there won't be no rest till there's no compulsory redundancies, and that's the message the university have got to listen to. I want to mention the support from the Guild as well. I think the solidarity that the students have shown is absolutely immense. It means so much to you. And it's hugely important because that solidarity, what you're learning from this dispute, can then be taken to the rest of your lives, because by God we're going to need it. We're going to need that fighting back spirit. We're going to need to keep up that sort of action. It's desperately important moving forward as a movement, because we're going to face difficult times. Now, just on a personal note, my daughter has just come from a law degree from the university, and she's been treated absolutely appallingly. And the original result was due on Monday the 5th of July. It's now the 9th of August, and a module remains unmarked. They're unable to process their board application without a degree completion. No communication, clarification from Central University, nothing. We've heard absolutely nothing. An absolutely appalling way to treat a student, and it mirrors the treatment of the UCU members, and one which absolutely shames this city as one of the key stakeholders. It's shameful how she and many others are being treated. But I want to offer some hope. I spent all weekend in South London with fan support and food banks this weekend, working with organisations fighting food poverty, building power to grassroots initiatives like tenants' unions. Absolutely inspiring what they were actually doing in South London this weekend. The collective solidarity was truly inspiring. They are demanding change like we are up here. The collective unity between communities is absolutely essential to move forward. It puts fuel in my tank during bleak times. People need radical change to fight the inequality we see in our communities, and they need to see collective actions get victories. That is why this dispute will resonate across the communities across the land. The power of solidarity, the power of leaving nobody behind. You have my full support and admiration today, and the full support of every person in the communities that I represent across this city. So solidarity to everybody, and keep the good fight going.
Thanks so much, Ian. Fantastic.
But I'm really proud to stand here today in support with UCU to defend jobs and oppose the compulsory redundancies. And comrades, you fought a very good fight. You know, 47 down to 2, and that needs to be recognised. You've campaigned hard since May, and that's because of your sustained action and the collaboration that you've had with the staff and the students. So well done to everybody. I really support you. But comrades, this is not just about the 2 jobs that we're talking about. This is about the sustained attack this Tory government are having on the health, the higher education sector. You know, we need to be dealing with the academisation of jobs and the marketisation of education. We need the fight to go on, to fight the Tories over those issues. And comrades, the University of Liverpool, as we know, is a very wealthy university. They are the biggest employer in my constituency, and the Vice-Chancellor is one of the highest paid in the country. So if the university wanted to, they could withdraw the threat of redundancies to those 2 workers, but they're not. They want to continue this dispute, and so what I say to University of Liverpool, stop dragging your feet and end this dispute now. But people, Ian has just talked about what's happening up and down this country. We have examples of unscrupulous employers attacking our workers, whether it's rank and yank or fire and rehire. Workers being attacked on a daily basis, expected to work more, get paid less, and worse terms and conditions. It's unacceptable, because while we are doing that, billionaires are growing in numbers, and the richest 1% are getting richer by the day, and that's wrong on all levels. It's immoral, and it shouldn't be happening. So what I say to University of Liverpool, come together, get back around the table with UCU, negotiate to withdraw the threat of redundancies to those 2 workers from the health department and life sciences department. It has to happen. We need to support these workers. We need to fight on, because if we don't, what will happen? We've heard about what's happening with employers across the country. We need to fight in solidarity and support. And as the local MP, you have my full solidarity and support going forward, brothers and sisters. Support comrades. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, everyone. Thank you for hearing me, by the way, yeah. So, I just wanted to begin because there'll be a lot of people here who don't know that this began with 47 redundancies intended to address health inequalities in Liverpool. The University of Liverpool thought it was going to save the poor. That, you know, think about this, the ego of these people, the vanity of these individuals. People on Breck Road, on Stanley Road, on Park Road don't need managerial vanity projects from millionaires. They need an education and a health service that's free and for all. And they need strong workers' rights, strong trade unions, and a complete kind of balance of power in our favour. And we think about this in terms of trade unions because over the past week, as we've continued to fight, and when we told them that 2 redundancies would still see massive strike action, that, you know, we were accused of holding a gun to their heads. Now imagine a world where workers had that power, where we held the guns to their heads, where we topped the tables and we said what we want, we will get. I think that's what we need to keep fighting for here. This is a battle not just for those 2 people. This is a battle for workers' rights, for trade unionism and for the future of education. So I think, you know, when we say 2 jobs will become 0, we absolutely mean it, and we will do whatever it takes. Whether it's the next 2 weeks and they aren't saved, we will go again, and we will go again until they get the message. And I think we need to think about them not getting the message in the context of their egos and their vanity. Because over the past 3 months, they've had the massive fortune of some free education in the university, which is a big rarity. They have been exposed to collective strength. They have been exposed to something that they will never understand, that concept of solidarity, which is out in abundance today. And it'll be that solidarity when they finally get the message that wins this. So I think thank you for everyone who's turned up today. We've got some brilliant friends of UCU still to come, and I think we all need to thank Jeremy for jumping up a train on short notice, and we can't wait to hear from him. But it's these kind of messages, it's the significance of this. We have the strength here, and we'll keep going until it's done. So thanks a lot for turning up, and to every single person who is taking that strike action, who's withdrawing their labour, for people they don't even know, for people they will never meet. That's the power of solidarity, that's the power of workers' rights, and that's what wins us this. So solidarity and keep going.
Thanks, Ant. Thank you.
We do have the power. I have been to each and every one of the UCU's protests since these 47 jobs were on the line, and I have seen our numbers grow. I have seen the support for this movement grow, and that is as it should be. Right now, standing here, we have MPs, we have Merseyside BLM, we have the LGBT community, we have communities with disabilities. At the back, I know we've got some of our firefighters at the back because they had a picture with us before. Yes, we do. The numbers and the support for this movement is growing, and just a huge well done for the UCU for getting the jobs under threat down from 47 to 2. Can we give them a round of applause? But not one job will go, and we will stand here as many times as we need to in growing numbers, so those 2 jobs and those 2 livelihoods are no longer under threat. We will come out each and every time the UCU needs us. Now, a couple of weeks ago we were in Chester, myself and Joe and a few other people who are here today, and what the Vice-Chancellor did, she sent a spy into the crowd to watch what we were doing and to report back. Listen, we're on the street protesting. We want you to see us. We want you to hear us. We want you to listen. Our Vice-Chancellor is up there in that office, thinking out Julie Beer, and we want you to hear. We want you to actually come down, because that is the point of a protest. The point of a protest is that we are shouting loud enough for you to hear our voices, listen to what we have to say, and know that no jobs are going to be cut, not today and not on our watch. We see you, and you need to see us, because working class solidarity is on the rise. And I love the UCU. I just have to say that right here and right now. I love the UCU because last year in the pandemic, when it was just a few BLM protesters out on the street protesting for our lives as black people, the UCU were one of the first unions to stand with us. They stood with us, they helped us get our banner, they helped us with planning, and they've been with us ever since. That is working class solidarity, and that is what we have to do. We have to stand with the UCU. We have to say, you listen to us, you hear us on this day, and we're going to be with you every step of the way. There are staff on strike, there are staff not taking an income, there are staff going on protests and not marking students' work, so that the Vice-Chancellors hear what is happening and listen and know that they can't do it, because that is what they're going to do. The rights that we have fought for, they will take them away in an instant. Without protest and working class movements, we would not have a weekend, we would not have a 7-hour working day, women and black people would not be in the workplace. But never take those rights for granted. Never think that we can sleep, never think that we can rest, because it's easy as it is for them to take it away. The second one of us stops standing up, they will take it away from us. They call these compulsory redundancies. They're not compulsory redundancies. There is no element of choice in these redundancies. What they are is sackings, and we're not going to we're not going to allow them to normalise sacking of staff with no notice. That is not going to become the new normal, so we have to resist, because if they come for one of us, they will come for all of us. Now, we're going to... On that note, I will end, but I want you to pay attention, guys, because the Police Crime Sentencing and Court Bill is up for its second reading at the Lords in September, and we need to resist that, because if this bill passes, we will lose our right to protest. We won't be able to do this anymore as of September, guys. Find your nearest Kill the Bill movement. Ours is Kill the Bill Liverpool.
support them and stand with them, because we will never stop. We will never stop protesting, and we will always stand in solidarity. Solidarity, solidarity to the UCU.
Imagine how I feel knowing that I'm the General Secretary of this union. This branch, the impressive work, the discipline, the commitment, the solidarity is inspiring and it is humbling, and I want everybody to pat themselves on the back because this doesn't happen anywhere. What I also want everybody to do is take a look around this crowd and notice who is with you, because not only do we need each other now, but we are going to need each other next month and the month after and the year after, because it is true that this university and the woman who works in that building is leading the charge for disreputable practices in this sector, but she is not alone. She epitomises the worst of management practices in this sector. As the numbers in this dispute have increased, the redundancies have gone down, and there is a reason for that, the solidarity that has been shown. But as also has been said, saving those last 2 jobs is not the end of this dispute. Across this sector, at least 30% of staff are employed on precarious contracts. That is sometimes, what was the branch telling me earlier? A 0.04 contract, 0-hour contracts, insecure employment that is the moral stain of this sector is the norm. So I am so impressed and so proud of this branch to get 47 down to 2, and I'm overwhelmed at the dedication and solidarity on display here today, and I am incredibly grateful of all of our friends that have come to join us. But this is not the end. Janet, if you can hear us, it would be great if you want to come down and talk about the anti-casualisation claim, rather than hiding in your big glass building on your salary of north of £400,000. But as it stands, she'll probably read about this on Twitter and then try and get her management team to lean on people to not tweet nasty things, because apparently when we have the audacity to tell management we're out of order, we're bullying them, and it's personal. As if being served with redundancy notices or having the sword of Damocles hanging over your head since January is not personal. As if being on a 0-hour contract and not being able to plan your life is not personal. As if your research being judged against bogus metrics in an attempt to make you unemployed is not personal. As if, despite giving your all during a pandemic for your students who will load back to campus on the promise of a normal student experience because this government won't fund education properly, is not personal. It's personal to all of us, and it's exactly why we are here. I'm incredibly grateful to all of you who have supported UCU. If you haven't donated to the local strike fund yet, please do that. Get involved in any way you can. And I also want to echo Chantelle. If you are not aware of the Police Crime Courts and Sentencing Bill, go away and Google it. I'm incredibly proud and happy that UCU was one of the founding unions of the Kill the Bill coalition. The bill specifically does not target trade unions, but that is not a reason for us not to assume that a demonstration like this, or indeed the campaigns that as trade unionists we are 100% behind, will not be criminalised. Because this government and managers like Janet in her building are not comfortable with their worldview. That is why they need bad laws to stifle resistance and stifle campaigns and if possible make them illegal. So take a look around, remember the faces here today, and the next time we're on these steps, make sure you bring 5 more people to take a look around and remember who was here today, because we are each other's community, we are the people who stand together and will keep each other safe, and we are the people who will be so loud, you can hide in your building all you want, but you will hear us. So thank you, solidarity.
The man who should be our Prime Minister right now, and we all wish he was, Jeremy Corbyn.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Liverpool. Thank you for being the city of solidarity, because that is what Liverpool is. It's fantastic to be here with Joe, with Chantelle, with Ian, with Kim, and so many others that have shown their solidarity with the UCU strikers at the university. You've won 45 of the jobs back. There's 2 more to go. Those 2 have got to be saved as well. We'll not stop until every job has been saved and all the redundancies threats have been withdrawn. Because what you're fighting for is obviously the solidarity with your members and the danger of those job losses. But in winning this campaign to defend those jobs, you will stop the university going after the cleaners, the catering workers, the contractors, and all the other workers in the university, because you're showing solidarity with all of them. And you'll also be giving a message to the university and further education sector all across the country that when the Tory government, as it will, as it is, comes after working class jobs and living standards with a new phase of austerity, we're here, we're ready, and we are fighting back. COVID has shown the best and the worst of our country and our society. The best has been those health workers that put themselves on the line, that went into work knowing the dangers they were facing, knowing the care they had to try and give. The best was those delivery workers who did the same. The best was all those cleaners who did the same. And I was forced to ask Boris Johnson a question. He doesn't like questions, he's not very good at answering them. He finds it hard to concentrate. I just said to him this: Prime Minister, at this moment, this was April 20, at this moment, who is more valuable in our society? A hedge fund manager or a hospital cleaner? I'm still waiting for his answer, and you'll probably have a very long time to wait for it. And in the midst of all that, people have done very, very well out of COVID. Serco and others, contracts worth over £30 billion for a failed track and trace system. Those that were given massive contracts for PPE, which didn't arrive, didn't work, or arrived in the wrong place. Those big pharma companies that were given huge grants to research into a vaccine and then try and ration that vaccine, not in the interests of the poorest people in the poorest places on this planet. It's exposed the hypocrisy that global big pharma can solve our health problems. No, we will solve our health problems by defending our National Health Service against privatisation, contractualisation and all the rest. And in solidarity with those around the world, we will campaign for them all to have access to decent, good quality, free health services as a human right. And so this pandemic has brought that about. But some people have done very well out of it. Bankers' bonuses have gone up by millions, nay billions. The number of billionaires in this country is more than it's ever been. The number of millionaires in this country is more than it's ever been. But the number of children living in poverty has doubled during this last 18 months to 4 million. 4 million children now living in poverty. Ian has led the way on the campaign for the right to food. He and I were with his constituents talking about the right to food campaign, the empowerment of people through food cooperatives, and all those wonderful people all over the country that have volunteered in food banks and food co-ops and try to help out their friends and neighbours going through food shortage, mental health crises and so much else. All the while they're doing that, the very wealthy are coining it in like they've never coined it in before. There's always money to be made out of problems and pandemics, and that is exactly what's happened. But I tell you this, I don't want to live in a society dominated by food banks and charities to try and feed people. I want to live in a society where you have a decent income to get the food you want, when you want, and a particular choice of food that you want. That means decent wages. That means a real living wage for everybody. It means an end to short-time working. It means an end to zero-hours contracts. And it means absolutely an end to the scandal, the disgrace of the fire and rehire that's going on by so many companies at the present time. Imagine what it feels like when you've worked for years, maybe decades, at a job you're very skilled at. A gas fitter, an electrician, care worker, so many different jobs and trades. You're skilled at it, you're good at it, and you've won reasonable, not brilliant, but reasonable conditions and wages. And the response at the end of furlough and all the public money that's gone into furlough is you lose your job, you're told to reapply, and you'll get lower wages, shorter holidays, less maternity leave, less paternity leave, and less sick leave in general. So you'll be working on the same job, probably for longer hours, for less money, on worse conditions. And all the while, they're coining it in. There's a bonanza of privatisation in our National Health Service and elsewhere. I tell you what, there is a big queue in the NHS for special treatment at the moment for cancers and so much else. There is an answer to that. Take over the private health facilities and hand them over to the National Health Service so the NHS, our NHS, can deliver equally for everybody in our society. So we are, all of us together here, of course in solidarity with the UCU strikers today. But you've given an example to people fighting everywhere, fighting for social justice, fighting for that better world and that better place, fighting for the next generation. I was proud to put forward a manifesto that included a national education service, free education for all of their lives. Not the interminable round of debt and loan and hardship for young people and older people wanting to get an education. We're the 5th richest country in the world. We can well afford all of that. We can afford an awful lot of other things. But there's one thing, as the great Bernie Sanders reminded us over America, and the parallel is here. He said, America can afford anything. America can do anything. America can go anywhere and achieve anything. But it can't do it with the level of inequality in America. The same thing applies here. Make Big Pharma pay their taxes. Make big business pay their taxes. Have a tax on the wealthiest in our society to ensure those services are there for all. We won't be jetting in on private jets from all around the world to deliver a load of greenwash. We'll be there campaigning for a transformation, an environmentally sustainable transformation of our lives, our jobs and our industries that protects jobs, improves living standards and gives real opportunity for the next generation. That surely is what we can and should be doing in the face of the issues this world faces. But when you have a British government that at the same time as doing that is spending £24 billion a year more on armaments, cutting overseas aid, and then promoting yet more arms sales. Don't complain about human rights abuses by Saudi Arabia in bombing Yemen if you're not prepared to stop that arms trade to Saudi Arabia in the first place. The two things are inextricably linked and connected. And so well done Liverpool, and thank you the Pensions Forum for inviting me to their meeting last month to discuss this and many, many other issues, and good luck with the demonstration in September. I just want to conclude with this. Liverpool is a city that has achieved so much. It stood by the Liverpool dockers. It stood by the abuse you received as a city after Hillsborough. And it told the Sun to get lost and keep out of this city. And I tell you what, those actions fundamentally changed the atmosphere and changed the politics. Because people talk to each other and communicate with each other in a strong way of real solidarity. That's what this city is about. That's what this demonstration is about. I'm proud to be here today, and I didn't need much encouragement with one message from Joe on Friday saying, can you come to Liverpool on Monday? Of course. Of course. I'll come to Liverpool anytime. To come and enjoy the politics of it, or to watch Arsenal struggle against Liverpool and Everton. I've got to say that. I've got to admit that. It's the way it goes. It's hard, but I've got to admit it. But it's also fantastic the solidarity that's been shown to the university teachers here in defending their jobs. This is a turning point in our history. We're in for some really tough fights over the next few months. Let's not deny it. We are. They're cutting back on local authority spending. They're cutting back on all forms of public expenditure. They're raising energy prices and so much else. There's real poverty and real hardship. When they talk about people can happily work from home and all this, yeah, fine. If you've got a house, a garden, 3 bedrooms, spare room, study of your own, it's okay, not too bad. If, like many in my constituency, there are 3 or 4 children in a 2-bedroom flat with both parents trying to work from home, no balcony, it's not that easy, it's not that simple. Kids fighting over the internet, kids fighting over a computer, all that. It's not that simple. These people are not just out of touch, they're holding the rest of us in contempt when they think there is some simple way out of all this. So, in the battles ahead to defend jobs, let's be clear about this. We want to see a redistribution of power and wealth in our society. We want to see a properly funded health service, a properly funded education service. We want to build a society that cares for this generation, cares for the older people in this generation, but above all, builds a society and a world fit for the next generation. So when Boris Johnson and Priti Patel seek to blame refugees for trying to come here, blame the victims of wars, oppression and aggression, they're wrong. They're totally wrong. Our solidarity is with those people that are suffering. And so I say to you, thank you so much. Thank you for your solidarity. Full strength to your campaign here at Liverpool University. Thank you very much.